Aha, Rizzy and Ember, you are both here. Woohoo! Alright, let's see. Mooney's here, we're all here. Now let's hope the internet cooperates tonight.
Look at Ember, look at she's so pretty!
She's so pretty! Look at that red lipstick, I love it. I love it.
Baby, I love it.
Oh no.
I forget, I mean, I could show up looking like a drowned rat, so.
Oh, whatever. You always look gorgeous. Shush.
Look beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, I'm sending out
invites. So we can talk about books like this one!
I know. I have to tell you, I had your books on my TBR for a minute. And like, I'm so glad that I read them. I'm mad that it took me long. Like, it should not have taken me that long to read them because they're delicious. Okay, they're delicious.
Oh, good.
So, absolutely. So we're just waiting for people to pop into the live. Got Charlotte's in here. Hi, Charlotte. And then we will start questions.
Send all mine out too.
Yes.
Send it.
And those of you guys in the comments, if you want to send out, you know, invites for people to join the live, the more the merrier. Exactly, because we're going to be talking about these amazing books, and I can't wait.
Look at that pretty artwork. Look how pretty.
I know.
So pretty.
I'm a sucker. I am a sucker for character art.
Oh, you should see this one. This pairing is my favorite, but I think the art for Lily and Alistair is my favorite because Alistair's all big and foreboding. He's all brrr.
Yeah. Where he's hugging her.
Yep.
And she's so tiny.
He's so needle.
I love it. I love
Which
it.
is funny because, like, in the book, I describe Lily as being quite tall. So for him to be even that much taller than her,
she's a tall girl, but he's a Hulk.
Right. Right. It makes her look delicate.
Our bodyguard. We love our bodyguard.
See, I fully intend on completely binging the rest of the books. I did not know you wrote 9. Okay, look, because I do this thing where I do the research and like then I start putting the timeline of your publishing together, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, whoa. And they're not like tiny books. They're not like 100-page books. Like they're beefy. And like
I think they're of average size, okay?
Average. So you're being all modest and humble down there.
Look, okay, because we have...
Well, this one is 410 is what this one is. So
for everybody who is joining us, tonight we are interviewing the amazing Ember Holt about her fantastic books. We're going to ask her questions. And then I also, I think I printed it out. I'm pretty sure I printed it out. We're doing a Mad Lib of, because I read Brutal Rival, and I looked at the most, like, annotated, highlighted part, and that is what we are using for the Mad Lib tonight. And I'm super excited because it's one of the ones, like, this passage made me swoon. And, like, there's so much in here, there's so much quippy in here that made me chuckle out loud. And I just... So, anyway, if you guys don't know, this is the I know. And so this is the amazing Ember Holt. She is, you might know her by the Brutal Rivals. It disappeared. There it is. See, she's got the,
Or this one.
Ember is amazing. I completely agree. Yes. Okay, look, that one... I'm ready to read that one. Like, just...
No, you're not. No, you're not. You are not ready for this book. Trust and believe. Not ready. I knew it was coming, and I still wasn't ready.
All right, Ember, so why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? See the hot seat. Make it real easy.
Oh no, I wasn't ready for this. I'm Ember Holt. I've been writing for most of my life, publishing for about 10 years now. I've got 2 other pen names that I've published under. One is still like semi-active, but hasn't published a book in a little while, so. But those books are not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about smut, filthy smut, and that's what I write now. So I wrote for this small press, Shadow Alley Press. They're fantastic, and I love them to death. If you write sci-fi, fantasy, lit RPG, hit them up when they do their open call for manuscripts, whatever that word is that I can't remember right now. In September, usually is when they do it, because they're so great to work with. Like, they're just, like, top tier. Anyways, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about them. Weird. So yeah, I published them for a while, and I just didn't see the kind of success that I was interested in because I wanted a full-time author career, and I wasn't really making it with them. And I also recognized in my writing that I was like suppressing my romance. Almost every single book series of my J.D. Astra pen name has a romantic subplot in it, and my boss was always just like, "Hey man, you gotta cut that from the book."
Really?
It wasn't the audience. The audience was primarily males age 18 to like 34. And so romance from a female perspective isn't really what they were jiving with. I don't know if that's changed, but
mostly because they probably live in their basements and they don't have girlfriends. But we don't talk about that.
But that's all the more reason to have romance.
Yeah,
right. Exposure.
Well, and I think sometimes publishers can play it really safe, and I think that that's where self-publishing kind of like breaks everything out.
Yeah.
Because we don't really get put in boxes, but
I mean, it's true that if you're a bakery and you make chocolate cakes and that's what you fucking do, and dang it,
you're fine.
like you're running Cali.
Right? No, I get it.
Yeah, you can't make spaghetti one day and then people will be like, "Hooray, spaghetti!" Like some people will be like, "Hooray, spaghetti!" But most people will be like, "Where's the freaking chocolate cake, bro?"
Yeah. It makes complete sense. And that's so like you said you've been publishing for 10 years.
No.
That makes sense. Like looking at this, because I'm sitting here, I debuted last year. And like I'm looking at yours and I'm like, girl. Because okay, I'm gonna be very, very honest. To write as well as you do and to pump out the books as fast as you have done that, like I'm sitting here being like, are you a superhero?
She's gonna do what, 3 books this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She already has 3 out this year.
Well, no,
published
Brutal Rival.
She published 6. She published 6 last year under this pen name.
Was Brutal Rival last year?
We've got the Kamara Boni, Gifts of the Dryad, the Steel Heist.
Just a novella.
And then, yeah, well, and I include the novellas because, I mean, it takes you time, and it's still publishing. And I think that novellas, you can ask Chrissy, I think novellas are fantastic.
Yeah, they're fun, but I mean, it was 21,000 words rather than, like, Dark Artificer was 93,000, so...
Yes.
And let's not talk about what's coming next. How many words are in that one?
In what one? What?
Number 4.
112.
Yes.
Yeah. He's a chonker.
No, you did Brutal Rival last year, right?
Yeah, it was last year.
So we have Feral Guardian and Dark Artificer so far, and then book 4 in the Princess of Ruin series comes out in August, and then she has 1 more in this series. So, girl's a beast.
Now, are those following I'm assuming the sisters, correct?
Yeah, it follows all 4 of the sisters, and then the 5th book will follow everyone. Everyone. 2 new perspectives that I was just like, well, I guess I'm doing this. Here we go.
See, I'm a sucker for series. I love, because I feel like there's so much that you get to build in a series versus with a standalone. You have to kind of cut it, you know?
Well, you did the novella for Gareth, right?
Yeah.
The dinner one. That was like 49 pages or something like that? It was teeny.
Yeah, it was teeny tiny.
But it was
Yeah, was that the
Dinner Tonight.
the dinner.
yes, Dinner Tonight. That's because I was like that one looks cute.
But she did that one before book 3, but you should read it between 3 and 4 because it does give you kind of like a little bit of spoiler because of who he talks to.
No, I did it after 3, right?
No, no. I'm in your art group. You posted it before. I read it before.
Don't challenge Rizzy. She knows. Like she knows.
I read it before 3, and I was like, "Wait, what?"
No, 3 was done. I pumped that story out in one single day. So as soon as I finished book 3, I was like,
and that's the thing. So like when you switched from your original pen name to writing under with this dark romance, was that a huge? I don't know if she disappeared, if she can still hear me. There you are. I was like, I don't know where she went. Was that a huge shift for you? Like, was it, because I know, am I muted?
No.
Okay.
Ember is. Ember, we can't hear you, Ember.
You're muted.
Oh, hold on.
She'll be back. She'll be back.
Okay, so you only read the first one?
I've only read the first one yet. I've had all of them on my TBR. Because, like, her humor, just in her TikToks alone, I'm like, I can already tell, like, this is going to be fantastic. So, yeah, no, I read Brutal Rival, and, like, I am obsessed. And I cannot wait to see what happens.
The banter between Scarlett and Zane is great.
I know.
But the banter between Lily and Alistair is so much better. Lily don't give up. Frank, she's going to say whatever she wants, and Alistair's like, Princess, no! Princess, no! And you're like, no! This is what we're talking about! Take off your pants!
Their dynamic was really fun. Yeah. It was a little bit awkward for some people because they're like, he knew her when she was a child. And I'm like, yeah. And then they didn't know each other for 4 years and she became a woman.
So. Right. She changed. She grew up. Well, and so you got a little bit of age gap there, too. Mm-hmm. Of the books that you've written so far, what are your favorite tropes that you've done?
I really, really enjoyed the forbidden romance aspect of book 3 because it made me get very creative in the spicy scenes because they couldn't touch each other skin to skin.
Now explain why.
Because there's a premarital ritual that the queen will perform on Elise to detect who has touched her and where. And if she's been touched by anyone other than her fiancé, they'll lose their heads.
Oh boy. So that's the thing, like, I enjoy the fact that the way that you stack these stories, like, is you have the spice, you have the plot, but you have the character development too. And I'll fully admit, I am a sucker for banter. I love when you have characters that have good banter because, in my opinion, it makes a story. And, like, just reading Brutal Rivals with Zane and Scarlett, like, their banter it's freaking hilarious. And she's so sassy, and I think it definitely goes to show that you put a lot of time and effort into strong female characters.
Thank you. Yeah, I do. It's one of the things that really irked me as a child reading when, like, every single book I read, pretty much, for the most part, there was either one girl and she was like kind of strong until something happens and then the boys have to take care of her, or she just like immediately presents as baby simp, and I'm like, this just isn't how real women are. Right. They're not this way.
Well, and I was really, because like when, and obviously no spoilers, but like when you get to the fighting scene where Scarlett is facing, the queen, you really think he's going to, like, that's how that's going to shift. Like, I waited, because I was like, oh, it's going to happen. He's going to rush in and he's going to save her. And, like, you didn't do that. Like, that's not how it, not to the same degree, though. It's not that, like, and I think that's such a hard balance, right? Like, I think it's such a hard balance for you to have a character where you've got a strong male lead, a strong female lead, and the male doesn't overpower and be like, let me save you from everything. Like, I'm going to put you over in this corner and you just let me take care of it, little girl, and we'll be fine. You know, where Zane's like, okay, you're a badass, like you're strong, like I'm going to provide backup, but I'm also not going to step on you. I'm going to let you do what you have to do. And I think that that's such a hard balance in literature, because so often we have this context of we have to save the little lady. Like we build up these very strong females, and then all of a sudden when it comes time to them to be tested, all of a sudden the man comes in and is like, oh, I'll save you. You know?
Yeah. No, I do dislike that very much when, like, throughout the whole book, it's like, here's the test, the final test that the FMC, sorry, I keep saying girl, woman is going to have to face. And then she's rescued from it. And I'm like, yeah, did she grow? Did she learn? Did she,
And it's so frustrating because you as, like, especially for me growing up, I wanted to see these female characters, like, you've built them up to be these strong and independent women. I want to see that come to completion. I want to see that.
You gotta see her finish.
Huh?
Sorry.
Oh.
I said you gotta see her finish.
Yeah. And then what you get is just this, you spent all of this time watching this character development, and it was for nothing. Like, she didn't have to go through this whole arc because the man was going to come in and save her in the end anyway. And you don't do that. And I think that there's something very, very, I love that. Because in terms of as a reader, because I came into this book, you know, obviously I've published, but I got to be a reader in this. And that was very refreshing. And I really liked that.
I love it when that happens. As an author, just anytime you start reading, you're like, well, okay, I know exactly how this book's going to go.
And you're waiting for it. You're waiting for it to follow the... And I cannot stress enough when you have a story that, yes, there are elements that are familiar, but also that aren't overplayed, and that you still have this original, like, no, she's a badass, and I'm going to give her the room to be a badass. And I have so much respect for that.
Yeah. As they like to say at Shadow Valley Press, you want to make same, but different every time.
Right. And that's because you go, like, you definitely, like, you have your tropes, and I love tropes, like, you know, but you don't stay just within the trope, and that's fabulous. So in terms of, because obviously we know that you have written a number of books. What do you do, like, when you get, like, writer's block? Like, what is that process for you?
Oof. So just recently I experienced, I mean, I guess what would be considered writer's block, kind of. I don't know how to describe it very well. It was like life decided to, like, dump a bucket of ice water on me, and I was like, well, now I have all of these things to juggle. So book 4 was a month and a half overdue for that reason. But really how I overcame it was... my good friend Jeanette and COO of Shadow Valley Press was just like, girl, stop doing anything else before you write. Like, sure, go to the bathroom and, like, brush your teeth and stuff. But then go to the computer, do not open anything except your draft, and write for at least 30 minutes, period. And that's it. Like, and so that's what I did. And it worked. I wrote 10,000 words in one day, and then I finished the book in a week.
Was that really therapeutic for you, though, like, to be able to sit down without that pressure and just to write?
Yeah.
Like, did that help?
It was so, I mean, I blocked out everything else I had to do. Like, there were emails, and, like, the dog needed to go to the bathroom and a whole bunch of other stuff, and I was just like, no. But yeah, it was good to just kind of, like, especially because I was so close. I was at, like, 74,000 words or something, so fairly close to the finish.
No, and that's... So, like, when you switched from, you know, because obviously you self-published, so when you switched from working with your publisher to taking it on yourself, what did that transition look like for you? Like, how was it?
So I self-published before I started working with a small press, so it was kind of like building... I built a foundation, a really bad foundation, and then I started working with a small press, and I, like, ripped apart my foundation and put it back together and was like, this is how this is how real self-publishing should look, because they're an indie press, right? So it's like self-publishing, but you have a bunch of individuals helping you do all the stuff, and you have feedback, and you have a big old bank account backing you up. So yeah, I just kind of rebuilt my strategy based on kind of the structure of how they do things. Prioritizing good cover art, prioritizing really good blurbs, which, let's not talk about the Chimera Bounty. I know the blurb isn't good, I just haven't read it yet. I know it's bad, I need to get back at it, but okay. But yeah, and then just kind of reminding myself that the number one thing I need to do is write, and then everything else is secondary, because if I don't have a book to market, then why am I doing marketing?
So because you've done self and you've worked with it was an indie publishing company, but I know, because I know we have a few authors actually down in the comments, and for them, you know, and even I guess for myself, is like, a lot of times you hear like indie authors, we get discouraged and we're like, okay, well, I'm going to just take this to a publisher. And, you know, like, do you have any words of wisdom for those authors on kind of what those differences look like?
Yeah. So with Shadow Alley Press, their royalty split is actually really good. Well, it's changed a little bit since I'm like grandfathered in to a different royalty split.
Right.
But it was like 40-60, and then up to 3,000-ish books sold, it would go to 50-50. But they're putting the upfront cost of the cover art, the editing, the everything that goes into it, the alpha readers, and then all of the promotion and marketing, and so they're taking on a huge load. So it really is quite fair. I think it's one of the most fair royalty splits out there that I've heard of for indie presses. And they also actually give a shit about you, so that's kind of nice. You won't get that probably from most, especially indie presses out there, because they've become so predatory.
Right.
So my advice would be stay away from indie presses unless they have like a really good standing. Like, check out all the books they've published, make sure they're actually doing their due diligence and like publishing them well. Yeah, it's hard.
Just do your research.
Yeah, do your research for sure. Don't just sign with whoever. You will be very sad. You will cry a lot. But as for the original question that I completely diverged from, which was, how do you keep the faith? How do you keep your energy up for indie publishing? It's difficult because we are so alone in these endeavors. Yeah. So my best advice is find some friends. Find some friends to talk to. Yeah.
No, and indie publishing can be so hard, because it's one of those, like, when you first start out, like, trying to find your people can be such a difficult thing. Yeah. You know, and I recognize that, you know, like you've looked at it from both sides of the element, like, and you talked about how you pulled apart your process and kind of put it back together. And it's one of those things where it's constantly moving, I feel like, you know, like your process and marketing and stuff like that. Did you, when you went into self-publishing, like we've got some of our ARC readers here, like, how did you go about doing that? Like, you have a really good support system with your ARC readers, I feel.
Yeah, it started with Moop, who is in the chat right now. I love you, Moop. I was writing the Chimera Bounty, and she hadn't read in a while, like not really read. At least that's what she reported to me. And I was like, hey, I don't have anyone to read this book of mine. No one at all. Will you please read it for me? And she said yes, and then she started reading it, and then she was like, wow, books, hell yeah. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. I got her back in the books. I got her back in the books. So I mean, and she was just she was a friend from work, and now a very good friend of mine that I don't work with. But yeah, so I mean, even if you have to start small, even if you have to start with your friends and family to get that momentum of self-confidence going, I know they can sometimes be really nice to you and be like, "Yeah, your book's great."
Right. And you're like, "Are you lying to me?" Because that imposter syndrome is a beast.
Right. Fortunately, Moop and I have a really, really good, open, honest relationship. She's brutally honest. She is.
Yeah.
Like, when something sucks, she's just like...
I depend on that one. Like, this one over here is the one that I depend on to be my brutally honest one, where, like, she'll tell me if it doesn't fit. Like, this doesn't sound like what Panixia would say. Like...
I'm sorry. I tried to help you be a better author.
Exactly, but as an author, you need that. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And then, of course, coming from the small press, I had several friends I had made there that were still part of my support group, my network. I went to a lot of author events, too. So Superstars Writing Seminars has been really good for me in the past. That's held in Colorado Springs in, like, February, usually. You can meet a lot of really great contacts there. It is designed for authors, narrators, and publishers to meet each other. And agents. I'm like, what's that word? The person
The word.
Agent.
Are you going to any other events this year?
Yes, I will be going to Dragon Con this year, and I'll be selling with Shadow Alley Press. I'll be selling my smut, too. We're going to get several big boxes of it, because last year, I brought only 2 books, and I had, like, almost every other person who came into the booth was like, "Can I buy those ones?" Without even knowing what they were about. They just pointed, they're like, "That cover is the one I want." And I was like,
but your covers are fantastic.
Okay, my lighting does not do justice to this book cover. I'm serious.
Let me see if I can.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning. And if you look, you have to, like, the way she does it, all of the pictures have little, like, bits into them that are like, okay, that you don't realize it till you read the book later, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Okay,
right.
That makes sense. I love
all
it.
of the little Easter eggs. They are stunning. They are. Your covers are absolutely gorgeous.
I think the Princess of Moon series is done by MIBL or Mibble. I don't actually know how to say their name, but
right.
They do really great symbol covers. They have some pretty decent photo manipulated ones too, if you're doing like urban fantasy.
Oh, I love that. See, I feel like she's the kind of resource where you go to and you're like, "So Ember, tell me all your secrets, please."
Girl, I'm telling you, I found Ember on this app when she was promoting Brutal Rival, and she's like, "You're not gonna like this book," and I'm gonna tell you, don't buy this book because it has A, B, C, D, E. And I was like, okay, I'm okay with all of the above. And then I joined the ARC team for Feral Guardian, and then I wish I'd read Brutal Rival first because it was on my TBR. And then I read Feral Guardian, I was like, okay, now I need to know who the hell she's talking about and why the hell this girl's got things coming out of her back. I need to know.
Look, okay,
Obsessed.
I have, yes, and I have not done a whole lot of like almost monster-ish fiction, like fantasy. Like I and like the Spindles thing, I'm like,
oh, just wait until you get to Alistair.
And then I realized, so like, oh gosh,
spider stuff.
Yes, the spider stuff.
Oh, that's not even. And then
boundaries a lot. It's one of my things too. I enjoy pushing boundaries.
Yes.
So in pretty much every single book I've written, I've even taken things in me that I'm scared of and been like, all right, we're writing it. We're writing this. We're gonna get over this one.
And that's so like, and okay, so my favorite in Brutal Rivals is the house. Okay,
Yes.
I love the house.
the
Can
house.
we do more with the house, please? Because I just
More is happening with the
I
house.
feel like there's a story there that has yet to be like it needs to be. Yeah, is that one? Okay,
This one has the house.
okay. Because I'm
Woo!
telling you, I read it and I'm like, I want more about the house.
Oh, it's
like
so
I
good.
feel like there's not been enough here.
Like
much more.
I can't breathe about how much goodness these books are.
You're killing me, Rizzy.
This is payback for what we happened with S.A. Bird.
Hey, I read the book, but like that's July. We're like ramping down a little bit in July, and we're looking at restructuring how we're doing this so that we all have more time to read. Cause like I read this and like I don't have the ability to just like continue reading it, and I'm like,
yep, it's a book.
I object. So what is the craziest story, without giving spoilers if you already have published, but what is the craziest story that has ever come to you to like be published? She goes,
Yeah. So a lot of my earlier stories, especially that I wrote, came from like dream snippets I would have. I dream pretty vividly often. And yeah, so I've had a couple of very strange, creepy horror dreams that I'm like, not for Ember Holt, unless I can somehow make it sexy, but I doubt it. I doubt it on this one. Yeah, it's like, oh fuck, I can't even remember now. Good thing I wrote it down. It was like 3 a.m. and I was just like, hey, and
then you wake up and you look at the notes and you're like, what What even was that?
I think one of the crazier scenes that I was ever like very excited to write is in book 3, and there's a coffin involved.
Rizzy hides her face. This is where you're killing me, because like her faces on these, like I already know, because Rizzy and I have relatively similar reading styles, so I already know if she's freaking out, I'm gonna freak out.
No.
Like, I just can't even.
Okay, she's the author, so book 3's coffin scene was phenomenal. But I gotta say, it was phenomenal, like ridiculously phenomenal. It was perfect for them coming together as they did, girl. But the scene I'm most looking forward to seeing these two react to is in book 2 with the teeth.
Oh.
And Ember knows exactly what scene I'm talking about.
Like, oh man.
The teeth.
If we only had 2 more days.
Right? No, and I already planned, because like we'll bring her back. We'll finish all of the books and we'll bring her back and we'll be like, Ember, we need to talk.
Yeah, so Moop messaged me immediately when she got to the teeth scene. She's my dev editor. She's just like, I can't read this book anymore. I can't. She pushed through it though, and she was happy she did. But yeah, I hit a hot trigger button for a lot of people in that book. There's body modification and
so good.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
oh good.
Well, no, it's not true. So the scene had been much more graphic. Like I went to a dark place and I stayed there for a minute when I wrote that scene. And so when she gave me the feedback that she was just like, I went back and I like pulled out some of the gory words and like cut down.
You reeled it back a little bit. You're like, okay,
and then she put them all in this one.
Okay. I need clarification though. Because I did watch your video before, like that you posted before this. Tentacles?
That's 4.
Book 4. Yeah, there will be some tentacles in book 4.
Okay. I had to clarify. I knew we were on the subject of,
no.
And I was like,
yeah,
but we got spindles, right? We got spindles,
right?
So it was like tentacles.
Yeah, and tentacles.
No, this one she has a scene because the way that she does her trigger warnings in this one, she doesn't list them. She has little breaks in the chapters that tell you this part something's going to come up, so you can go to the end of this little spot, and I'll give you a too long didn't read version of what happened. So you don't have to read the triggered parts of the chapter, which I love.
I like that though.
I loved. Yeah. So you could skip it without it ruining the flow of the story, which was perfect. But there was one scene.
Sensitive.
What?
He's cool with that stuff. Sorry, I wanted to be more sensitive when it came to that stuff, because some of the stuff I was writing, the very first scene that does that break, Rizzy, you know what I'm talking about, it triggered me. Like, I cried as I wrote it. So
yeah, she reached out to ARC readers and was like, can somebody read this, because I was told this was too much and I need somebody else's point of view. So she had me read it, and I was like, I can see why people would get triggered over this. Personally, I didn't, but I'm used to reading darker romance.
Right.
So I was like, but I can totally see. So yes, that would be something that you would probably want to put your brakes for. So I was
like, your ARC readers have become kind of your team. You know, like they read in advance and they kind of give you feedback in real time. So kind of almost like beta reading, but ARC reading, because you have that relationship with them.
Yeah, with a lot of them, for sure. Some of the ARC readers definitely just read the book, post a review, and then they're like, and I'm like, hell yeah, done, one and done. You're great.
Yep.
But there are lots. I mean, I have a Discord for us to hang out in, which has been like fucking tumbleweed town for the last couple of weeks. Sorry about that.
No, it's because she gives us little bits. She gives us little bits, and then she just enough to keep on the hook, but not enough for us to know anything.
But yeah,
so you kind of put some of those teasers in there for your ARC readers to kind of engage that. Okay, I love that idea.
It also just helps build a sense of community. Again, because indie publishing is such a solitary endeavor, having some people to bounce ideas off of or help be your hype man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a vain, egotistical creature, and some days I'm having a bad, hard day, and I'm just like, here's a big section, a big, juicy section from my whip, pow! And then I get a whole bunch of dopamine of people being like, ah!
And because I was going to ask you about that, because like you do have like a really good support system, but like I think for some of us younger authors, we don't necessarily know how to engage our readers and keep them engaged, and what is too much and what is not enough, of like keeping them engaged in the content that we're creating, because obviously, you know, they all have lives and we don't want to overstep, but like we're like, we really like you. Like, this is a lonely thing without our community.
Yeah. So definitely, like, I think I tend to over engage, like over connect. Like, okay, she's saying no.
No, she doesn't. I'm on Discord all the time, as Danielle knows, because she and I talk back and forth on Discord every day. She does not. You're fine. But everybody's thoughts are their own.
Right. I mean, I try to maintain sort of a little bit of a professional barrier between me and everyone else. Like, but also, I want to be friends with you. Like, I want to have conversations, and like, I don't want to just be like, here's a book, read it. Like, that's not.
I think that's kind of the fun thing about being an indie author, though, too, is like, I feel like our ability to be able to be engaged in the community is so much more different than like a larger, like published author like Rebecca Yarros and whatnot. Like I don't feel like they get the same ability to engage with the community as an indie author does.
Right. I mean, mostly because the danger. So far, I've only received like 2 yucky messages ever, which is awesome. But for larger authors, like, they're going to get yucky messages all the time. So they don't even want to have a presence on most social media where they can be reached by the public, because
that makes sense.
It's just it's a waste of their time. It's
scary. It can be very scary, because like as a, you know, especially in our society, we're trained to feel like we did something. So like you automatically feel like, well, what did I do that invoked this behavior? And you have to go through that process of like unwinding it and being like, oh, well, that's not on me. But it takes a while for you to get that mindset. But I would imagine, you know, you've got somebody that has a larger platform like that, it happens a lot more.
Yeah. I can only imagine, like, you know, Brad Pitt's Twitter, what his inbox looks like.
Right. You know, and it's one of those things where it's like, you gotta wonder where people in their brain, they're like, this is completely fine. This is completely appropriate.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like my toes.
No, my toes.
Rate my toes, Brad Pitt.
Right? Oh God. What is your favorite part of being a writer?
Man, that moment when you like surprise yourself and connect things.
Yes, the connecting of the dots.
Oh,
Yes,
I am a good author. That always
when
feels
like you didn't know where this plot was going, but all of a sudden you're like, oh, it makes complete sense now.
So, Moop, if she's still in here, can tell you in my outlines, I write deranged stuff like, and then this will happen. I don't know how or why. It just will. or, and then, and then a god will descend from the sky. Which one? Haven't figured that out yet.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, so I'm what you call a gardener. There's a plotter, there's a pantser, and then there's a gardener.
Planter.
Yeah, so pantsing is when you just like write off the cuff, like you're flying by the seat of your pants, just slamming the keys. Plotter is someone who very meticulously goes through and decides where the book is going to go. But since I'm a more character-driven storyteller, I love to make characters who are very, very real, and then they drive the story. They, grow and show how things will change based on their actions.
Right.
So I'm a gardener. I plant flowers in my garden, or sometimes garlic, onions, whatever. And then the ones that grow are the ones that grow, and the ones that don't, they get beheaded.
Cool.
And they turn into twisted little turnips.
Pull it right out.
Exactly.
If you could say one thing that you as an author can impart on your readers, like one thing that you hope that every one of your readers can walk away with, what would that be?
Just one?
If you need to do more, you can do more. But like a big thing that you hope your reader walks away with.
Sure. Life is too short to read a bad book. Just because it's bad to you doesn't mean it's bad, period. You're allowed to DNF, and you should. And I started DNFing more frequently, and I feel so much better about life. So do that. Like, even if it's my book, man, I've had a lot of people DNF my books. So I'm just like, it's just not for you. Whatever, man. It's cool.
Absolutely.
Some people don't want teeth.
I don't want to feel those teeth, babe. That is your problem.
So yeah, and then the other thing is like, I guess in tandem with that is reading is an experience that should be either educational or entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not at least one of those things, just stop. Stop. Unless it's for school and you have to, I guess, or work.
Moop, she goes, but if you read past the teeth, it's so worth it.
Past the teeth.
Very true.
Past the teeth.
Now, where can people find your books?
They can find my books in a lot of places. I publish exclusively with Amazon, so everything of mine is in KU. Can read it with your subscription. Good time. You can also buy little special packages that I wrap with my own 2 little hands and put special stickers in on my website, which is emberholtwrites.com. And then I have one audiobook out right now, which you can find on Audible.
Which one? Which one of the books is an audiobook?
It's the Chimera Bounty. And let me tell you how deep in a hole that project is. Every time I open my spreadsheet, it's just like red, number, comma, number. I'm like, ah.
Audiobooks, I feel like, are a labor of love. I feel like they're one of those things that, for medium, for people to enjoy, that's just a labor of love that you're putting out there. Because I have not heard of anybody in the indie publishing that has necessarily gotten their investment back fully on that.
Yeah, no. So eventually I know that Brutal Rival would pay out in an audiobook. I just don't have the capital to do the upfront work on it right now. But the amazing Laura Horowitz did the Chimera Bounty, and she is fantastic. The Chimera Bounty is like an urban mystery fantasy lit RPG. So I was trying to blend my previous
Right
with the new one. I think it's a super fun book. It was told from third person past tense, which is very common in lit RPG, but not common at all in romance. And oops, oops.
Tenses really do matter. They do. First person is the most popular.
Yeah.
But that is the questions I have for you. It is now Mr. Mooney's turn.
Now that I allowed you to take most of mine.
Oh, allowed me. He says allowed.
Okay.
Well, thank you for waiting so patient. I was wondering. I was like, man, it is just Danielle here, like grilling me.
We go around as the author, then we go marketing, and then we go reader.
It doesn't help that Rizzy has a big mouth and cannot stop talking through most of Danielle's questions and making comments about Danielle's questions. So that's why it took a little longer.
Well, no. She let me know beforehand that she really wanted to pick your brain. So it was like, if you want to take a lot of the questions, go right ahead. I have no issues.
Because you're so amazing, Ember. We love you.
And as a baby author, I definitely wanted the opportunity to be able to be like, hey, so how the heck do you do this? So, like, you're amazing.
You can reach out to me anytime on Discord or here, whatever. Like, if you have questions, I have answers. They might not be correct, but I've got them.
I'll give you her Discord name so
yes,
that you can...
please. Yes, please.
It's just Ember Holt on Discord.
All right, Mooney, go.
You need to let Rizzy think she was gatekeeping. Jeez. I have to
never. Not from Danielle, anyway.
No.
So, you mentioned that you were keeping a spreadsheet for the audiobook. Are you doing that across the board for all your books?
Yeah, so I do it by project, by series, and then I break it down by like which book is incurring which cost or making which amount of money. Yeah. Coming from Lit RPG, I deal with spreadsheets a lot. I'm also a project manager by trade. So spreadsheets are kind of like my natural jam. Yeah, but I need to get in there and like do that. I've got a Trello card that's just like update all your finances, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I do want to.
No, no, thanks. But yeah, so I keep track of all that stuff.
That would almost, to me, seem like it would cause more anxiety about, like, come on, book, you need to do more. Come on, book.
Well, I mean, it depends on your mindset. Mine is like, so for the series that is in the hole, the Chimera Bounty series, I know that the blurbs need to be reworked. They're not very good, so that's not helping them. The genre mashup that I did is appreciated and liked. It's just not like widely known enough to get run around. I need to go for more of the paranormal audience, I think, on that one, and I miscalculated. And then the covers could probably use some freshening up. Like, they're decent, but they don't really sell paranormal romance very well. Whereas those sell dark romance very well. I knew what I was doing when I had the covers.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, that series is in the hole, and I've kind of divorced myself from it. Divorced my emotions from it. Sorry, that's what I mean to say. Because I know that until it gets the help that it needs, there's no way that it's going to perform really, really well unless one of my other books, like, skyrockets, and then people dig through my backlog and they're like, oh, hey, books. And that's the only way that's going to happen. Otherwise, I need to like go back, reinvest some time and some money into fixing them up, sprucing them up, and then they have a chance. So I know it's not their fault, and it is my fault, but it's not really my fault. I don't know how to describe it better than that.
Well, that was your first introduction into the romance genre. So
And that's what I was going to say. Is it was your first pancake? It's okay.
Yeah, I was trying to make a German chocolate cake, and I made like a white cake with chocolate chips. People were like, this isn't what I ordered. It's pretty good, but it's not really what I ordered.
So does that affect, because you said you package up your books with the stickers and this and that, so does that affect the amount of attention you put on the packaging when you're sending those out, the books that aren't doing as well?
No, they each get the same amount of attention. So the Princesses of Ruin series has a little bit more swag simply because they make more money, so I can put more money in. Like, it's just a matter of money in, money out. But the other book series, it still gets a personalized hand wrapping with little stickers, and book 2 actually has character art, which I love.
It's so cute.
Yeah. So yeah, like, there's still some swag that goes with those books, but I don't keep a lot of them on hand just because they don't move as fast. Yeah.
The AC kicked on and it's like, man, that's awfully loud.
I'm wishing my AC would kick on. I'm like fanning myself with my skirt bottom.
Oh, no.
It's hot. It's hot in here.
So you said some of your inspiration comes from your dreams and this and that. So is that where all of your inspirations, because like you did the arachnid blend and brutal rival and this and that, is that where it's all coming from, or do you have other points of inspiration?
It's not where it's all coming from. A lot of, I'd say, kind of story concepts. I mean, I have a huge folder just full of, like, maybe one day. But no, so the arachnid component to the Princesses of Ruin, which has a very different origin. I made a TikTok on it a long time ago. But the origin was, I was hanging out at my job, and we were talking about books, and I was talking about how when I was writing sci-fi and lit RPG, I couldn't just, like, idea. But my boss could. He was like, I get ideas every day, all day, just like crazy. I can't keep up with it. And I was like, man, I am not that way. But as soon as I switched to romance, it was that way. It was like, pow, 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 idea. So one of my friends was like, I bet you couldn't make a romance book idea out of anything. And I'm like, I bet I could. And he's like, all right, how about clowns on pogo sticks? And I was like, well, you didn't specify if pogo stick is a euphemism for penis. So that's where I'm going to take this one.
She says challenge accepted.
So the original idea for the Princesses of Ruin was going to be a why choose, and the protagonist was going to be like the ringleader of this traveling carnival, and she was going to bounce on other boys' pogo sticks to get their magical powers. And then, once they were inside of her, she would mix and combine them and make, like, different magical things happen. So as I started drafting that, I came across this reference picture for Zane, and he was going to be one of the broody boys. And as I started, like, writing out his character, he was just too possessive to share. And so I was like, all right, I guess this is no longer a why choose. We're just going 1-to-1. And then the idea, like, kept evolving until it became Brutal Rival. And the element that stayed was clowns. They call low magi clowns.
Love
So
it.
on technicality, you did it.
I did it. She bounces on pogo sticks to get magical powers, and there are clowns.
She doesn't really bounce on them, though.
Can. If she gets a straight injection anywhere, she'll get the power.
Right, but for the most part, because she doesn't, if I remember
No, she doesn't
correctly-
sell that.
Yeah, she doesn't sell that. So it was mostly
Bobbing for pogo
Was it
sticks.
like, it was
Yeah.
like the princess on her knees, or like she has a name specifically.
Yes. Yes. She has a specific name for that reason alone.
Yep.
I love when it's finally explained. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was dropping enough hints along the way, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make Tristan say it. I'm just going to make him say it out loud.
So, what are some of your favorite types of characters to write?
Definitely strong, independent, stubborn, sense of humor. Like, you'll see that in almost every single character, at least every single FMC I write. Some of them are a little more broody than others, like in Dark Artificer. She's a little broody. But
That was a reason to be broody. Her fiance's a dick.
he is, yeah. He's a frog fucker.
Yes!
But yeah, so I also like to see characters who are, well, real, you know, they have damage, they have history, they have a past that makes them the way that they are, and they act and react according to who they are. I also like to see them grow and overcome things. Nobody's perfect, nobody's perfect, and we all have space for improvement, so I like to make sure there's space for improvement. Or space for degeneration in the case of Elise.
Oh, but we love it so much. We love it so much.
That poor girl, I flushed her down the drain.
That's okay. She comes out still being pretty good, and Kaz is right there through the whole thing. We love Casimir. The very first MMC that was blonde, well, not blonde, but blondish, since Draco Malfoy, that I absolutely love.
Well, he was based on Draco Malfoy.
That's why I love him.
I remember you saying that in one of your TikToks. I was like,
Yep.
So pretty.
Typically based on Manacled and Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of being in love. Draco, like I combined the two of them, and Casimir.
All right, then I got one last question, and then I'll give it off to Rizzy. And this is one that I don't think we've ever asked. Is what are some of your favorite books that you've read?
So I just recently read I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me. It's not smut. There is a romantic element, but it's mostly a whodunit, gothic horror mystery kind of thing. It was very beautiful. The prose are lyrical. It was so it's a ballerina setting, and like the ruthlessness of the Paris Ballet, and just the things that this girl goes through to get to where she wants. Like, she chooses violence the whole way, and it was amazing. Let's see. There were some ones that I read recently. Sorry, like my brain just erases everything. I'm in the middle of reading Red Rising right now, and that one's made me cry several times already. Thanks, Moop. Thanks so much.
I've actually been hearing quite a bit about that one, and I'm thinking that one might be my next.
It's very, very good. It started out a little rough for me simply because the character is 16, but it is so cynical. They're more like a 30-year-old. So I was having some cognitive dissonance, and then I was just like, fuck it, it's fantasy. Like, who cares? He's not 16, he's 28.
There you go.
We're all 28. It gets sadder. Thanks, Moop. Great. So,
Forewarning.
so happy. And then, man, what are some of my recent reads that I really loved? I read Tentacle Entanglement. I didn't love it. It was like just a fun exploration of where tentacles can go. And I got a brand new one that I'd never heard of before, and then had to look up female anatomy to figure out if they were lying, and they weren't. The beam is on the inside of the urethra. Did you know that? That more nerve endings of the beam is on the inside of the urethra.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Why? Now I know that. Now I know this information.
And now everybody in this live knows. Thank you, Ember, for sharing that with us.
Okay. Also, whales produce about 11 gallons of sperm when they ejaculate. Just in case you wanted to know that one too.
The more you learn.
Where's the star?
Yeah, as Moop mentioned, Manacled I love, but I read that like last year. I think The Sea Witch by Rebecca Kenny is a really fun gender-bent retelling of The Little Mermaid. It was super fun. And
I think you put a TikTok about that one, didn't you? Like
I did, yeah. I put it in my tentacle.
That's what it was.
That's use of tentacles. Yeah, I've been redoing my TikTok strategy, and it's been working. But also, I haven't posted in the last 2 days, so now I'm just gonna like turn around and look at my shelf and be like, "Where's books that I like?"
You're right. Which ones? Which ones?
Come on. Oh, Ensnared, Enthralled, and Bound. Those are 3 books by Tiffany Roberts. They're like a sci-fi spider person romance. And they're a little more cozy, even though you're on an alien planet, but it's kind of like... Anyways, the alien civilization is really well done. Like, they have their own pantheon of gods, and like their society is well built. Like, a lot of thought went into that alien society, and I loved it. I loved it. All right, that's it. I mean, there's more books that I loved. I just can't brain them right now.
It's your turn.
It's finally your turn, Rizzy.
Here we go, Rizzy.
So, I'm so excited. So excited. Like, I have literally been so excited for this live. You don't even know. Because we did your release live like thing on Discord for Feral Guardian. And that was so much fun. But this one, I'm like, I get to just have her by myself with them. But it's still by myself. I don't share her as much.
Don't look at them. Don't look at them.
Don't look here. We're not here.
No. Okay. So first off, we know
read some from book 4. Is that what you're? Is that what you're?
We will get to that.
I don't know.
We'll get to that. But first, me throwing stuff at. Hold on, my husband's in the room. First off, how did you come up with their names? Like, I know that Scarlet is originally Belle, but the princesses, how did their names get picked?
So Reina was the only one that I was really like, yeah, that one has meaning, and that's why. Reina means queen. So I was like, it's gonna be Reina. Elise, I have found that I like A names a lot. I went through and I like wrote down how many A names I have. There's a fuckload of A names. I'm like, why? And then in book 5, I'm shipping 2 people who have A names. Why? I don't know why. Anyways, Elise, I just like pulled from the ether. I was just like, she's Elise. Casimir had a different name before, and it was bad. It was real bad, and I was like, girls, he can't be called this. This name sucks. And I believe it was Morley A. Gray who came up with Casimir. We were just like, we were all on like Russian baby name sites. I'm like, what's a good boy's name? Casimir. Yeah, and then Scarlet was literally that she drew blood a lot, so she nicknamed herself Scarlet for that reason. And Liliana, the intent with her was that she was going to be a very soft, very kind, gentle flower. Yeah, that was the intent to begin with. Was she was going to be that way?
Yep.
And she went, no. This is why my books are character driven. Like, I set up their past, their history, the shit that happened to them, and then I start writing them, and they start telling me more about themselves, and I'm like, well, oops. Like, when I was writing Casimir and Elise, their roles are switched. Like, Casimir was supposed to be more like Elise is, and Elise was supposed to be more like Casimir is, and then I flip-flopped them. It's just how it went. I don't know.
That would be interesting to see Elise as Kaz and Kaz as Elise, because they're very different.
They are. They sure are. And that's why it's better that the characters get to tell me what to do, because I plan it wrong all the time. I'm just like, yes, that's going to be. And they're like...
The characters are like, no.
No, you're wrong.
I don't agree.
It's just like
Okay.
You see someone's picture and you're like, that's how they're going to be. And then you meet them in person and they're not that way at all. And you're like,
Yes.
see. That's kind of how it is.
Okay, I like that answer. Do you happen to have any music that you listen to or that you feel like is associated with? Like, I know you liked the Reaper song that I used for these guys for this exact reason, which I stole from Danielle, by the way. But is there any like books or any songs that you feel like attributes to each one of the books personally?
I have a playlist for Dark Artificer, and I have a playlist for Ruthless Scoundrel. I didn't make one for either Feral Guardian or Brutal Rival, but there were specific songs I was listening to in that time. I've been listening to just an epic F-load of Sleep Token recently. Kind of on
Same.
Oh. Hey, basketball, what up? There's a basketball bouncing in. Sorry, I'll call it out.
You're fine.
There's a basketball.
Okay, so we've gone to music, we've gone to music names. Oh, so is there anybody from your life in these books? Like, not like completely, obviously, because we can't write our parents and stuff like that into books. But like, is there anybody from your life that you kind of put a little bit of their personality into your stories?
Yes, for sure. So if you haven't been able to tell in the last hour that we've been talking, I put a lot of myself in Lily. A lot of myself is
Not at all. Didn't pick up on that at all.
Not at all.
No.
And it just kind of happened by accident. You know, she has a lot of trauma, and she dealt with it by being funny. You know, by bringing the lulz. Yeah. So then, I have a character named Cecilia, and there's a real life human being named Cecilia who helps me with dev editing, and they are just coincidentally very much alike. Like, as she's reading, she's like, "Yep, that's me. Yep, that's how I do." And I was like, "Oh, must be the name." And then in some of my really old books, back here we go. I'll whip out this guy. This one is 0 Point Hero for college-age girls Sailor Moon style transform into their D&D characters, and I have 2 really good friends. The 4th one in this was just kind of made up. But as I wrote this, I had 2 really good friends, and they kind of were the embodiment of the other characters in this book. So it was really fun to give them a bit of a homage. And yeah, I really like to put people. Oh God! No. I also have people who just request that I put characters in my books, especially people who I'm like close with or who buy a lot of my books, and they're just like, "Hey, put this character in your book." I'm like, "All right, cool." So one of the characters, Lumi, was an ask from a good, I guess, online friend and purchaser of books, and Lumi's now become like the leader of the rebellion. She's a big character, like she's a big deal. So that was pretty cool how that happened. Anyways,
Anyway.
I kind of answered the question. I like half answered it.
No, you did. You did great. You did great.
You got it.
Because a lot of the times we have people who are like, "Oh, my spouse is in the book," or "My mom is in the book," but you have a lot of yourself in the books, which I absolutely love. Because you know I love your books. But do you feel like you relate more to one princess than the others, or do you feel like you're just well balanced between all of them?
No, I definitely relate to Lily more, especially in book 4. I am putting her through it. Like, she experienced some hard stuff on her journey home, and not all of it was awesome, and she's having to figure that out. And like, you saw sort of some of the precursors to the problem happening in book 2, and it just gets worse and worse and worse as she gets home and is like safe and comfortable. So she's got a big arc to go through in book 5 to get through that. Maybe I will too.
Exciting. So I know that you, like, as you said, you put parts of yourself in the book. Is there anything in particular that you have experienced in your own life that you have put in your books?
Yes. Lily's hypothermia. That one, I mean, you were on my ARC team, you know that.
I know this already, but I had to ask the question. I already knew the answer, but I wanted to ask the question anyway.
Yeah, so when I was 12, I got pretty severe hypothermia from the waist down. The story is gross and pathetic. But the only way I survived was that my teacher, who was a male, had to body sandwich me to keep me alive.
It's a much better version in the book, but
the book version
great.
is not what happens in real life.
You're like, let's be clear.
Now, there is something that you've told our ARC readers that happens in every book. That it's like you didn't mean to it, and then like something happened, the getting sick part.
Oh yes.
Now,
yeah.
Are we going to see that to completion, or is that just something that you're going to only do in books 1 through 4? Like, does book 4 have it?
Hold on, I need to go edit my draft.
I was gonna be like, Ember!
I don't know. I can't recall. Oh my gosh.
She's gonna have to go look now.
I mean, it's not like
what did you do to her, Rizzy?
It's not like I purposefully do it every time, right? It just, like, vomiting is a natural part of human life. It happens to every single human being, at least when they're babies, if not as adults too. And girls can vomit also. They can poop.
Very
they
capable.
do things.
I wasn't aware.
Yeah. Well, now you are.
Well, now I'm intrigued. I can't wait to read book 4 to see if it actually happened in there.
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to go for that.
I still have a little bit of time to edit it, so I might just like sneak in a puke.
Sneak in.
At least one.
With how book 4 is,
she dry heaps. She
okay,
does
so it
dry
counts.
heaps, so
It
that's
counts.
close enough.
It counts. Okay, so that's a no. Because that's what I was like. Wait a second. You have to have all 4 of them do it. Let's see. What else? We know that Lily's your favorite, but who's your favorite MMC?
Well, Lily's my favorite. Not my favorite, but Lily is the one I identify most with, just because, like, my favorites is Elise. Like, I'm sorry to pick favorite babies, but it's Elise. She's my favorite baby. And then as for MMCs, it is a really... I can't. I love them. Because I just got done writing Jasper. I think he's my favorite right now. He's very fun. He has, like, how do I describe it? Brain faster. He's kind of snarky and very playful and likes to make fun and push buttons. Like, he's a really good counterbalance to Rena because she is a stuck-up brat. And so he's constantly pushing her buttons and making her angry and, like, pushing her past that point where she loses the princess mask, you know, because she has been so closely watched and, like, on lockdown in the palace for so long, she can't break her facade or she'll politically die. So he likes to push her past that point a lot. And that is, again, more like Lily's behavior. So, of course, I love that behavior.
Lily's it makes sense because he's our sailor boy and Lily's got a sailor mouth. So it suits.
Yep.
Okay, so I have 2 more questions, and this one I've been wanting to ask for a while. How did you come up with the magic system and your gods, and, like, because when I read Feral Guardian, I had read Brutal Rival before, so I didn't get to see the scene with the queen and all that stuff like that. All I got was her runes on her arm and Alistair's runes, and then the way she combines her magic and stuff like that. And I'm like, how did you come up with this? Like, where did that come from? That is amazing.
Yeah, well, so I have a lot of experience with magic systems. I mean, I was a project manager in game design for a long, long time. And we did a lot of fantasy games. So I had a lot of exposure to designing fantasy magic systems. She's the one who came up with Casimir's name.
Nice.
Nice. So yeah, I had a lot of experience designing, like, real functional game mechanics. And then when I wrote sci-fi lit RPG, again, I was writing these books around these gigantic game systems that had to have a magic system that made sense. So when it came to the Princesses of Ruin series, well, I guess I'll backtrack a little bit. The Chimera Bounty, I, again, have like a little bit of a game lit. It's not lit RPG hard because I don't show you all the numbers, but I did do all the math on the back end, so it's hard enough, all right? It's hard enough. But for the Princesses of Ruin, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make spreadsheets. I'm not going to make sawtooth curves. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of this stuff. I'm going to live in a fantasy world where magic has always kind of been part of them, and while they understand a little bit of how it works, the greater system of how it works is sort of obscured from them. They know that the gods play a role in how magic is bestowed upon people, and in book 5, that will really, really start to show itself. So, yeah, that one's a lot of fun.
I loved the little reveal in this one, especially because we do have dragons in book 3. Which I love. And there exciting. Okay, and my final request of you tonight, dear. Is there anything that you can tell us about book 4? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to tell us? Anything like that? Huh? Besides tentacles. Give me. I mean, out of the 3 of us that are up here beside you, I know more about this book because I get the special privileges of being in your art creator group. But is there something that you can share with them out there that you haven't shared already?
For sure. Okay. So in book 3, in the very first chapter, I drop a hint about something very important dealing with the MMC in book 4.
So we should all rush out and read that now.
You need to read book 2 and then book 3. Even though standalones.
So, book 2 and book 4 are both sort of happening outside of everything else. Mm-hmm. So like book 1 and book 3 really need to be read together because there's crossovers and things that happen. But like book 2 happens mainly somewhere else and book 4 happens mainly somewhere else. But the interconnected pieces do come together at the end of each book.
That was nothing. You told me nothing.
I told you nothing at all.
You told me nothing. But like I said, I already know, so I'm okay with it. I'm done as far as questions. So
magical creature in book 4.
See, I like that. That's it. And the tentacles.
Yep. There's tentacles. There's a kaiju battle.
Okay.
I bring literal Godzilla into the mix.
What's funny is I literally just found out what they are.
Oh.
Thanks to my my coworker's 12-year-old son because he watches animes. And he goes, "Have you seen Kaiju 8?" And I'm like, "I don't know what that is." He goes, "You know Godzilla?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Look it up." And I'm like, "Oh, this makes sense now."
Like giant monster.
We learn all these new things.
I'm a huge fan of kaiju battles. I think they should be in every book where they can possibly be. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now this is my part. This is my favorite part. This is the Mad Lib. We took the most highlighted part of Brutal Rivals and we turned it into a Mad Lib. So that's what we're doing tonight. It's a little bit longer than the normal ones, but I wanted to. This quote is my favorite. Emberly, yes. But this is my favorite. I would have highlighted this one.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start with the author. We're going to go up and around, and the first is a verb.
Rust.
What was it?
Rust.
Thrust. Yeah. Oh, wait, rule. Only one smelly, Mooney. And no buttons, sir.
All right, Miss Rizzy.
Adverb. Adverb? What the hell is an adverb again? Oh, is it like swiftly?
Adverb.
Is it like swiftly? There you go. We'll do that one. I just quickly, lightly, gently.
It's totally okay. I forget these things all the time too, and I'm just like, fuck,
Same.
what is it? Fuck, what is it?
Well,
I'm
Adverb always
telling
gets
you,
me.
do these Mad Libs, they usually take me about 30 minutes because I have to go and I have to be like, wait, what 10? Like, what is this? What part of speech is this word? All right, Mooney, verb.
What's
Insert
the verb again?
Verb is an action.
We are authors and readers.
Action. Eating.
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 Eat.
Eat.
Put whatever tense on it you need.
Whatever tense.
Noun.
Oh wait, I have to noun?
Yep.
Yep, it's your-
The
it's-
writer doesn't noun. It just does three.
Okay. Okay, donut.
There you go. That's a new one.
All right, Rizzy, verb.
Lick.
Nice.
I'm interested to see what scene she picked because the brutal rival is full of really great highlighted parts.
Cool
Yes.
some scenes, that's for sure.
Mooney, adverb. It adds to the verb.
Where's
Softly.
my brain?
Softly,
Where's my brain?
gently, lightly,
Languidly.
devastatingly.
Licks.
Firmly?
Firmly.
There you go.
There's a reason we always put these at the end because there's always a likelihood that we're going to end up getting bananaed. All right, a noun.
Bananaed. Radiation.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Rizzy, another noun.
Peanut. It's the first thing that popped in my head.
Mooney, a noun.
Tentacle.
There you go. Bravo, Mooney, bravo.
Radiation peanut tentacle.
All right, the next one is a noun.
Another noun.
She writes books, ladies and gentlemen.
Manual transmission.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, look at you with the big ones. I like it.
I just want to be weird. I just want to
No,
be
that's
weird.
good. We did weenus and eggplant
Yes, and
and
those usually make the best ones.
we come out with some pretty interesting ones.
All right, Rizzy, another noun.
I'm gonna just hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? He has to get ready for work, so I have to like move a little bit.
Yes.
Another noun?
Yes. What was it? Thumbs?
Dog.
Dog. Okay.
A little hellion dog.
Yes.
Hellhound.
All right, Mooney, another noun.
We can throw in spindle, I guess.
There you go. I like it.
All right, a verb. What was it?
Pets.
Pets. Pets. All right. All right, another verb.
Another verb. Stab.
Dab. Mooney, noun.
Let's do a call back to the last interview and go not.
Not. I still don't know what that is.
Hey,
You need to
and
finish reading the books.
Yes. Apparently, it refers to something in our last author's book that these two know about that I don't.
Yes. Yes.
I
Ember knows
know
what-
about nodding, so you know. I assume.
All right, Ember, a verb.
Something real special. It's got to be interesting. Nope, that's not a verb. I'm like, that's a good one. Not a verb. Is that a verb? No, that's a noun. Fuck. Ah, shoot. There you go.
Shoot.
Shoot.
Hi. All right, Rizzy, an adjective.
Adjective. I'm gonna steal. Let's see. Damn it. No, that's not a noun. Oh, wait, adjective we're describing, right? We're describing, yes.
Adjective,
Yes.
yes. You're adding to the adjective.
Crap! My brain's not brainy now.
Hot,
No.
purple,
Depraved.
depraved.
That's on the back of the book.
Sure is.
Mooney, noun.
Yes.
The easy one. Hell yeah.
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Depraved McDonald's. Awkward.
I mean, it's accurate.
Verb.
Slides.
Slides.
Look at her being all fancy with slides.
Look what happens after you eat McDonald's.
That is what I was thinking. It slides right through your guts.
All right, let's see. Noun that ends in S.
Ooh. Noun that scythes.
Slides.
Okay. Then verb ending in ing, Mooney.
Kicking.
What?
What is it? Kicking?
Kick.
Kicking.
Oh God. This poor Mad Lib.
This poor Mad Lib.
All right, a body part.
Oh boy. Gentleman bits.
the wag-a-dang-a-lang.
Avoid the banana.
There you go.
Banana. I will accept it. All right, Rizzy, verb.
Verb. That's an action, yes.
Not
Yes.
the bits. Yes, the bits.
Bites.
Bites.
Oh wait, weren't we supposed to do like audience questions?
We can do audience questions if they want to put it in the while we're finishing up this Mad Lib. We can definitely do the questions at the end after the Mad Lib is done, if you'd like.
Or you can shout out words and we could use those too. It definitely helps.
Absolutely. If you guys are seeing and then you can help out our panel here. That's brilliant. All right. I think it's your turn.
It's like, wait.
Part.
What?
What?
Go.
Whose turn is it?
Mine.
It's a body part.
Body part?
Yep.
Let's go ear.
Ear. All right. We're almost done. We've got just a couple more left. What is a verb to use, Ember?
Ride.
A noun, Rizzy?
A noun. Purple.
Purple. All right, Mooney, another body part.
Button.
Oh, you brat.
Nailed it.
All right, and then
Purple
a
button.
verb.
This is saying goodbye.
Sorry, saying goodbye.
No, that's
Emoji kisses. Bye, spirit shadow person.
And what about a verb? We need a verb.
For me?
Yes.
Oh.
There's only 2 left.
Yes.
Kiss.
Yes, go. Oh, kiss.
All right. Yes. And what about you, Rizzy? A verb ending in ing, and then that's
A verb ending in ing. I don't see. Verb is action, yes?
yes.
Kissing would be a verb ending in ing.
Okay, that makes sense. Rizzy knows words, I promise.
No, I'm not. I'm not good at knowing words, so.
How about
I know
reading?
what. I'm reading the back of the book, Enslaving.
Waving.
That is a reference to this one, and you will know slavery is involved in this one.
All right, guys, are we ready?
Thank you, Andrea.
Okay.
She was trying.
So I thrust in swiftly and eating her donut. He looks at me firmly. A radiation means nothing compared to the peanut I have in you. The only tentacle I want is your manual transmission. I am dog with you at my side. And my spindle is your pets. I will stab the knot of the king and queen. I will shoot the depraved McDonald's and assassins who come to slide you. Send them back from whence they came in. Scythe kicking for you. Their banana that dare try to bites you.
What?
Their ears so they will never ride them upon your purple again.
I'm so lost.
And their button, she asks with a smirk. I kiss an eyebrow at her, slaving. You don't need any more of those but mine.
Just one button for her. That's only one
But
button.
Zane secretly has a button. I should be worried because only females have the buttons.
Do you not know the secret mail spot?
Men have a button.
But
Men do
it's
have a
not.
button,
I
ma'am.
mean, but it's not called a button.
Yeah, it is.
She's not.
But if you guys really want to know what it says, you should read it. It's a brutal rival. It's fantastic. And if does anybody have questions for our amazing author?
I hate when bananas bite me. Move.
Right, me too. Those nasty bananas.
It's not the bananas we need more about biting, huh, Mook? We know something else bites back. Oh, funny people. I love it. Give a couple minutes for our questions down below if you have any. Oh, I'm dying. I can't breathe. Should have brought more water for this interview.
Right?
Should have brought more wine for this interview.
Hey, girl, you did it.
Yeah, you did.
If I'd known you were bringing wine, I would have brought wine instead of water.
Next time,
when
it's
I
a requirement. We all have wine next time.
Except for Mooney, he can be the DD.
Yes. Yes.
We're driving.
Yeah, apparently.
The designated.
We'll be with the DI, the designated interviewer. We'll just drink and he can talk.
There you go.
Though I doubt the three of us together drunk would be more than just giggles and laughs and penis jokes.
I mean,
It would be epic. It would be a good time.
at my elevation, it just takes a little extra.
It seems we have a question.
Hmm.
What is the hardest part of writing for you?
Do you want to start, Danielle?
For me,
Yeah.
getting the words out. And finding time. Like that is the biggest thing that I've
When you turn on your computer, don't open the internet, don't open your chat, don't open Discord, open your whip. 30 minutes. Just write.
Danielle has 4 children.
Yes, I do.
Take them outside, give them a stick, and say, go play.
That's why
No,
we have
because they're coming in 5 minutes being like, I got a sliver and somehow Sissy's eyes got poked out.
You know, millennials were a different breed. If we got a
We
sliver,
were.
it's like,
so much. Oh my
I
god.
guess we better take care of that ourselves. It's like,
Right, well, just
yeah.
the Band-Aid thing, right? Like, I got this bruise. A Band-Aid's not gonna fix that baby. Like,
Really isn't.
I love you, but but it makes it feel better, Mama. No, it's not.
No, what was our mom's? If it's not broken or somebody's dead, don't come in.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Drink from the hose. Stay outside.
I'm saying, like, there are some toxic things that happen
We probably shouldn't have followed that one, but
that we shouldn't do. However, you gotta make the kids a little bit harder.
yeah, no, that's. But yes, 30 minutes in your work. Okay, so is that what you do, Ember?
Yeah, so that's what I definitely would recommend. But what is the hardest part of writing? The hardest part of writing usually comes right around the doorway.
Hold on, I lost you. You're
Yeah.
Ember. Hang on, honey.
Probably the most
Hear
important
us.
part too.
Ember,
We can't hear
we
you.
can't hear you. What happened? Where'd you go?
So tired.
What?
You were
There you
talking,
go.
but no
Yeah.
volume was coming out.
There
You
was
just-
nothing. You were talking and there was no volume. We were like, what's going on? What are you saying?
I have no idea. I mean, I didn't do anything. It just came back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So start again. The hardest part is
The hardest part is right between what's classically known as the transition from Act 2 to Act 3, or what I know as Act 3 to Act 4. It's the Dark Night of the Soul, where you have to put your character in the worst possible situation that they're ever going to be in, at least for this story. You have to bring them so completely low that they have no other option but to use the resources that they have gained in the first half of the book to come back and defeat whatever obstacle is in their path. And that's hard for me to bring them very low because I love my characters. You know, they're like my little guys. I don't want to hurt them, but it's so necessary for their growth.
Yes. Well, and you get it, like, I think to be a good author, you have to be invested in your characters. I don't feel like you can write compelling stories if you as the author are not invested.
Yeah.
Like, there's those scenes where, like, you knock it all down. You come in and you just finish it all. And, like, you as an author feel every word. And I feel like, yeah. And you're like, I'm so sorry. I'm
God of this world and I'm wrecking your life on purpose.
Have you ever had, like, an unexpected, like, a character, like, death that you were not planning on? Yeah. That just wrecked you?
Yeah. I had someone, so I was planning on them dying, and then I had a reader say, if you kill this character, I'm fucking done with you. And I was like, oh, shit.
Okay.
Challenge accepted.
Right.
I won't. I mean, I've done this to an author.
Right.
I told them, I was like, if you kill this character, I will never read your books ever again. And they didn't kill them. They made them immortal.
I like that. I like that. No, I was like, wait, who did that happen to you? Did somebody threaten a character in your book?
What? Threaten a character in my book?
No, like, if you kill this character, I'll never read your stuff again.
Oh, yeah.
Who?
Yeah. It was me.
No, but which character?
I'm not telling. Because I might still kill them.
Andrea wants to know, does originality ever bother you? Like, is it what you're is what you're writing original enough?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a very good question.
Yeah, so, I mean, if I grab this book off my nightstand here. This is a great book. Seven Figure Fiction talks about kind of these formulas for telling stories that already exist. And like every single story that's decent follows one of these journeys. Usually the hero's journey is the biggest one that people use, which is like kid, typically an orphan, some cataclysmic thing happens to them. They have to change their whole life radically. The best example is Star Wars, right? Luke Skywalker hanging out on Tatooine, living with his aunt and uncle. He wants to go join, the Empire and be a gunner and fly ships and stuff. I can shoot a wombat. Not a wombat.
Why are you starting in the middle of the story?
What?
That's the middle of Star Wars.
Bro.
Oh my god.
You
love that, Mooney.
That is the most shut your look I've ever seen. The head tilt with the bro.
Okay, if we want to start at the beginning, let us go back. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a Star Wars aficionado, so we can go back 4,000 years to the first Jedi.
He's like, I'll pull out the books.
Ember says, "Come for me! I dare you! I dare you!"
Oh, I've got it.
I had to push the hot button.
Push it. No, it's true, and I've been drinking straight from the bottle, so you know I'm getting there. So no, I don't struggle with this idea that my work isn't original enough. I mean, look at people who do like retellings of classic fairy tales. They're literally taking all these elements that already exist. Or another great example, Hermione fan fiction. I love it. It's always the chantilly cake I have ordered. I like reading Draco and Hermione. I know the characters. I know the world. When they say Blaise Zambini, I know who they're talking about. Like, it's kind of a comfort thing. There are lots of readers out there who are comfort readers who will read the same books over and over again, or will read the same fan fictions over and over again. Because they know what's going to happen, but they don't know everything that's going to happen, right? So that's why contemporary romance is almost always a happily ever after, because that's what's come to be expected. That's what's wanted. Like, we don't want contemporary romance stories where in the end they don't get together. That sucks. We don't fucking like that.
It leaves it unfulfilling. You feel like it's yeah.
Which is why Colleen Hoover can go suck a big donkey dick. So
Why I will read her books.
There are, I mean, her books break my freaking heart. I've read a couple of them, and I'm just like, damn, I don't ever want to cry this much ever again.
Right?
I can't take this.
Some people want to cry a lot, and that's okay for them, but I just don't know this. But yeah, like, there's just like there are movie genres out there with every different flavor of action, sci-fi, romance, comedy, drama, weird shit, horror. I mean, the same is for writing, but they all have to follow these basic tenets of the characters are in place A, they experience event 1 that puts them on a path to place B, and they have all this time in the middle to grow, learn, become different people so that they can overcome challenge C. I don't think I did that right, but there you have it.
I love the way she talks. It's so great.
Well, but I think it's a good point. Is like every story that is a decent story has been told, and it's just your individual spin that you put on it. And I feel like that's probably why we put so much energy into our characters, because yes, the same story's been told, but these are completely different characters we want you to invest in. And that's what makes these stories that grab you and like hold on.
And the world, I mean, like, world building is a thing too that can compel people. I know Red Rising has very, very interesting world building, but it plays on these concepts that have already been done before. But it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't feel bad. The lack of originality is not a shortcoming. It's nice to have this construct that I understand that is spun differently. And
I think that's why we're so drawn to specific tropes. Like, we know that in these tropes are things that attract us, that we love reading. So like when you know that these stories follow these certain tropes, you're like, that's my jam. Like, I want to read that.
Okay. I'm getting yelled at.
Yep.
getting yelled at.
I have 2 small children that are demanding dinner, and my husband's like, you're 45 minutes past your 8 o'clock mark, and here it comes. It's coming right now.
Kevin, we're
You're
sorry.
taking your sweet fucking time there, chill off.
Yes, we're talking
It's
about
Taco
this.
Bell.
Well, isn't that
It's
what you're
Taco
always
Bell.
talking
We're
about?
having burritos for dinner tonight anyway, so that's hilarious.
I thought you were in here talking about man parts.
We were talking about man parts a minute ago, but we're done with that.
Chastity belt.
So, Thank you, Ember, for coming and joining us today. Ember Holt, the author of the Princesses of Ruin series. Books 1 through 3 are available on KU. Book 4, The Ruthless Scoundrel, comes out August 20th. We are all prepared for that. Look her up. You're not going to regret it.
Sign-up sheets are in my bio right now.
Sign-up sheets are in her bio right now.
Sign up right now.
Right now.
Sign up. I did. You won't regret it. Love you, Danielle Mooney.
Love you too. Thank you so much.
You guys. Had fun.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.